So I think, this is kind of terrifying, but it's a wake-up call for cloud providers, I think, to start prioritizing proactive and end-to-end security measures to protect their customer-sensitive data. I can't stress this enough. And in many cases, when these security breaches occur, certainly when you have more than one party that could be responsible, you get this. Everybody's pointing at each other. That needs to stop. There has to be responsibility that's taken by somebody. And the shared responsibility model that cloud providers often, push, they're saying, well, you have a certain responsibility to protect the data and we have a certain responsibility to protect the data. We do our part and you have to do your part. Well, that's all well and good when you're dealing with a cloud provider, just dealing with a single vendor. When you're dealing with some of these third-party systems out there, integration specifically, they're going to have access to a multitude of data. And so it has to be looked at systemically. And, even look at the core cloud service, in this case, Salesforce, and how they're leveraging these systems, but also all the integrations, all the network providers, all of the hosting providers, even the company that leases your computers that the users use, need to be considered. And that's something that I think many companies don't do. And they also assume, if they're leveraging a vendor, leveraging a cloud provider like Salesforce.com, that their security is going to be taken care of because they're a very sophisticated, very old, actually a good software as a service provider. You can't assume any of that. You have to question everything. You have to have a zero trust mentality when you look at these security solutions, and you have to figure out how we're going to design something proactively to get ahead of the breach attempts. That's core to this. Once you get breached, it's too late, and you need to put a security infrastructure in place that's thinking in terms of all possible iterations of how these breach attempts will occur, the different attack vectors, and ultimately trying to eliminate as many of them to reduce the risk as much as you can. It's never going to be zero, but it definitely can't be as high as the risk was before these folks breached the system.